being productive and creative. To some, it may feel like work and overall productivity is the enemy of creative freedom. To those who thrive creatively, your to-do list could seem like a hindrance on your ability to explore the avenues you seek. You're stuck between the big picture and the day-to-day details. Trying to juggle both of these will lead to major stress and a quick burnout. There is actually a scientific reason for this. These two things require different types of thinking, generated from individual rhythms within your brain. That means the good news is, it's not just you. Thankfully, there are plenty of ways that you can balance being productive and creative. It is entirely possible to still be creative while keeping a sense of productivity to your life. Let's look at 3 ways that you can manage to be creative and productive at the same time. Induce psychological distance. Have you ever noticed that when you step away from a problem, you feel more inclined to come up with creative solutions for it? For example, when you hop in the shower after you get home from work, you suddenly have 5 ideas about how to fix the issue you've been humming and hawing over for several hours. That is an example of psychological distance at work. According to psychologists, psychological distance can help creativity. Our brains are more likely to think creatively about situations we aren't experiencing at the moment. In order to be creative, we need to be removed from the problem. One way you can do this is to think about another person's perspective. Think about who else is working on this problem or talking about the issue. Using this frame of reference may help you to be more creative in your solutions and problem solving. Another simple way to achieve psychological distance is to take a break and work on another project. Whenever you are feeling overwhelmed, try working on something else for a short period of time. Also, be sure to schedule regular breaks. Not only will this prevent burnout, but the psychological distance it creates will allow the creative juices to get pumping. Know when you work best. Creative thoughts tend to ebb and flow naturally during peak times of the day. This is different for everyone. Everyone is able to find their productive and creative grooves at different times of the day in different hours. If you're trying to work against your natural clock, you're not going to get things done effectively. For some people, the morning is when they see their peak productivity hours. Of course, those among us who are not morning people may think otherwise. It's based on your circadian rhythm, your personality, and your schedules. Don't underestimate the importance of breaks. No one is able to focus well for longer than 120 minutes. Make sure that you're giving your brain time to relax and to reorient yourself. Take a look at what hours you notice you are most productive. Make a note of them and try to arrange your schedule around these. When you're able to focus on productivity at certain times, your creativity can flow in others. Place constraints on yourself. Creative, non-linear thinkers can sometimes benefit greatly from the right constraints placed at the right time. Now, this doesn't mean micromanagement and restriction, but instead it's about finding a fine medium between the two. You'll have heard that necessity breeds invention. Constraints will change the way that we look at the world around us and how we solve problems. It may seem that fewer rules equals more creativity, but this isn't always the case. When resources are readily available, there's less incentive to use things in innovative, groundbreaking ways. If you have ever reached something high up by standing on a chair because you didn't have a ladder, you were creative due to a constraint. If you ask someone to make a 3-course dinner from 100 different ingredients versus if you ask them to make it with 10 different ones, the chef with 10 will have to come up with a more creative solution. The next time you find yourself unable to balance productivity and creativity, seek out ways that you can change the situation and flip the script. You may find that creativity lies in unexpected places and that changing your routine can make a massive difference.